Please welcome Yeoh Siew Hoon.
There's something about being born on an island that makes you want to fly. Perhaps it's the small sky above you and the big ocean around you that makes you imagine what lies beyond. Growing up in Penang in the 60s and 70s, you couldn't help but be aware of travel. I recall seeing a big bus taking white people around, being escorted by police, and I wondered why they were so important. It was a travel conference. At that moment, I fell in love with travel because I imagined being someone important, someone on top of the world, but not white. Here I am at the Habitat Penang on a hill I used to hike. It wasn't imagination, though, that drove my father from Hainan. It was survival. His mother couldn't feed him anymore, put him on a boat, and he had to go or die. He landed at this pier and is visited by his grandchildren so they could appreciate how he had to give up his roots to give us wings. Learning about my father's history made me realize the power of travel to change lives. And these are the staff of Cempedak Island in Indonesia. Without tourism, they would have no jobs. Or as Mark Twain says, travel eliminates prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. I tried to capture my travels in a book published by Flame of the Forest. It didn't sell like Harry Potter, but it sold enough to make me happy. And my publisher told me I'd sell more if I actually wrote about ghost stories. So maybe one day I'll write about ghosts. I am lucky to have found my groove in travel, places I've been, friends I've traveled with who still remain friends. I always maintain, girls, before you marry, travel with them. Travel brings out the best and the worst in people. So full disclosure before commitment. In May, I went to Iceland, reminded me of the fragility of planet Earth and the transient nature of humanity. About 300,000 people live there with boiling lava at their feet. Imagine what that does to your state of mind. I don't wish to bore you with my travels, though, because we get enough of that on our social feeds, right? I mean, all the sunsets have been commoditized on Instagram. And it is one of the most used hashtags. And we now have Instagram tourism, people who travel just to take selfies and dress up in kimonos. And some actually falling to death for that selfie. I read that 250 people have died taking selfies. Talk about travel changing lives, okay? So travel is a huge industry. You see the numbers there. You're all part of it. I focus on the online part of it, and that's $638 billion being booked online, right? But I didn't get into travel for the numbers. I didn't do it for the numbers. I did it from here.
Both good and bad.
I'm sorry, you can't hear him.
Unimaginable. I think we're actually on the cusp of something exhilarating and terrifying.
It's just a tool, though, isn't it?
No, it's not. No.
The inspiration came from David Bowie, for those old enough. And these are the words that stuck with me. And think about those words. And think about how the gray has entered almost all new business today, from Grab, Cheryl, from Airbnb, from WeWork, art hotels, video games, esports. It's that gray spot. And I saw an opportunity to create web in travel, to create that gray space in the middle that would break the wall between the audience and the speakers, to create an opportunity and a community and a sense of ownership. Because, it's also dumb luck, okay? I mean, as Cheryl said, sometimes the stars are aligned. I was lucky to be at the intersection of travel, tech, and Asia. I would have been real dumb to screw it up. But it takes a village to raise a child, while it takes a village to grow wit. From 160 delegates at the first event in 2005, we now have 6 events that touch the lives of thousands around the world. Let me introduce you to some of our villagers. They all hail from household brands in travel, from Ctrip, Ouigo, Skyscanner, Agoda, Accor, China. All of them started with wit when they were small startups. Today, they have exited, and travel has changed their lives as it did mine. These are some of the new entrepreneurs that are entering Asia, new Asian homegrown brands that are changing travel and the world. Klook, Voyaging, Be My Guest. We can be proud of them. So even though it's been 15 years, things are just beginning to get exciting in travel, people, and it's all thanks to you because you're all addicted to your mobile. And you're all chasing the best price, best value, best whatever, right? So how competitive is it travel getting? Let me show you. So this was the opening of our WIT conference in Japan. Isn't it wonderful? It's a girl samurai kicking ass. Used to be a profession only men did, but this girl was kicking ass. So travel is going to get super competitive, and it's all good news for us, right? More competitive, cheaper prices. But ask yourself, do we want to live in a world that's driven by price and convenience? Do we want to live in a world dominated by monopolies and tech giants? Or do we want to support, oh my gosh, my durian orchard in Green Acres, Penang? Small businesses need us to make the right choice about travel. This is why we launched WIT Indie in Penang. Okay, I'm losing it. Back to my roots and back to WITs, we want to empower smaller players to compete. So we will go to Penang on March 17th, 2020. WIT Indie is about celebrating the long tail in travel. It's where the love is. We want people who love what they do to make money so they can continue doing what they love. And personally, I believe that you must always do what you love, which is why I'm launching a podcast called Alive in Travel, and it's conversations with people like you whose lives have all been changed by travel like mine. So I'll see you in Penang next March, where my life in travel began. Thank you very much. Thank you.